Cybersecurity incidents targeting critical infrastructure and personal data repositories have become increasingly prevalent. One of the most consequential examples in recent Australian history is the Medibank data breach of 2022, which exposed the personal and health information of approximately 9.7 million current and former customers. This presentation examines the Medibank cyberattack in depth, outlining the timeline of the attack, possible vulnerabilities exploited by criminals, criminals responsible for the attack, the long-term organizational impacts, and the preventative measures that could have mitigated or thwarted the breach.
Let's start with an overview of the Medibank data breach timeline. The incident began around the 7th of August 2022, when login credentials for a Medibank administrative account were stolen from a third-party employee's personal device through malware. By late August, the attacker used those credentials to gain remote access to Medibank's VPN and installed malicious scripts. Although the company's endpoint detection and response system generated multiple alerts, unfortunately they were not properly escalated or investigated. Between late August and mid-October, the attacker continued undetected access to the network and extracted approximately 520 gigabytes of sensitive data. On 11th of October, Medibank detected unusual activity and began an internal investigation. Engaging an external cybersecurity firm, they confirmed that a large volume of personal and health data had been taken. By 20th of October, Medibank publicly confirmed the breach after the attacker shared a sample data as proof. And 5 days later, on 25th of October, it was confirmed that all customer personal data and some health claim data had been compromised. Finally, in November and December 2022, the attacker published the stolen data on the dark web, confirming the severity and public impact of the breach.
The Medibank data breach revealed significant deficiencies in the organization's adherence to basic cybersecurity principles. Possible vulnerabilities exploited by the criminals are listed here and explained in the following slides. Firstly, the absence of the principle of least privilege. The third-party IT provider contracted by Medibank was granted administrator-level access, which exceeded the level of privilege necessary for performing routine operational tasks. This increased the risk of attackers easily gaining high-level access into the system. It is believed phishing techniques were used to acquire these credentials. Secondly, inadequate credential protection. The remote access system used by Medibank did not require multi-factor authentication, thereby allowing unauthorized access through the use of stolen credentials. The absence of MFA represents a core weakness in authentication protocols, particularly for systems containing sensitive health data. Thirdly, insufficient network segmentation. Weak internal network segmentation further facilitated the attacker's lateral movement across Medibank's infrastructure. Without properly isolated network zones and access controls, it became easier for the attackers to identify, access, and exfiltrate critical data assets. Fourthly, delayed detection and incident response. Although early indicators of compromise were detected, Medibank's delayed response allowed the attackers to maintain persistence within the network and extract significant volumes of confidential data before containment measures were implemented. The Australian Federal Police identified the perpetrators of the Medibank cyberattack as originating from Russia, specifically a ransomware group known as BlogXX, which is a cybercriminal organization believed to be a reformation of the notorious REvil group. REvil had reportedly disbanded in 2022, but the emergence of BlogXX demonstrates the persistent and adaptive nature of cybercriminal networks, which are capable of reconstituting under new identities or collaborating with other groups to conduct further attacks.
Moving on to the long-term impact, the Medibank breach has had a lasting effect across financial, operational, reputational, and regulatory areas. Financially, Medibank reported over 125 million Australian dollars in cybercrime-related costs expected by mid-2025, including nearly 40 million Australian dollars in FY24 alone. This cost including direct response effort, legal support, and infrastructure upgrade, and will continue for years to come. Operationally, around 60 to 65% of Medibank's FY25 budget is dedicated to cybersecurity uplift and remediation. The company is also managing multiple litigation and regulatory proceedings, including an OAIC civil penalty case. Reputationally, the breach severely damaged customer trust. Many customers left immediately following the incident, and although the new acquisition later recovered, the brand image and customer confidence remain affected, potentially influencing long-term retention and competitiveness. From a regulatory perspective, the breach has drawn strong censure from agencies like APRA and could set new precedents under the Privacy Act 1988.
Measures that could have been taken to prevent or mitigate the attack. The Medibank cyberattack in 2022 mainly happened because attackers were able to access Medibank's internal systems using stolen username password from a third-party contractor. The account that was used didn't have proper security features, do not have multi-factor authentication, which made it very easy for the attackers to log in and move through the network. To prevent or reduce the impact of the attack, Medibank could have implemented several important security measures. Number one, Medibank should enforce multi-factor authentication. The MFA requires a user to prove their identity in more than one way. For example, using a password plus a code sent to their phone or OTP authenticators. It helps. Even if a password is stolen, the attacker cannot log in without the second code. How to implement Medibank should require MFA or on employee and contractor accounts, especially those with remote access, and many tools can enforce MFA automatically. Number two is limit. Medibank should limit access using least privilege principles. So not every employee or contractor needs access to all sensitive records. Now, if the stolen account had limited access, the attacker would not have been able to see or download millions of records. Easy to implement, review all user accounts and only give access to what each role truly needs. Remove unused accounts and regularly audit permissions. Number three is encrypt sensitive data. Encryption scrambles data so it cannot be read without a decryption key. Even if attackers steal data, they cannot read it or leak it. And how to implement apply encryption to databases, backups, customer medical records, both when stored or at rest or when in transfer or in transit. Number four is a network segmentation and monitoring. What's that? The attackers were able to move inside the network after initial access. Segmentation creates internal barriers, preventing attackers from reaching the sensitive areas easily. And how to implement separate systems should be created into zones like staff login systems, customer data storage, and different monitoring systems can be used that alert security teams when unusual access occurs. And the last one, the fifth point, is a regular security testing and audits. Penetration testing and vulnerability scans help find weaknesses before criminals do. So proper testing should be done, regular security audits should, and it can be done like hiring internal or external security teams, cybersecurity testers to perform regular audits, especially on the third party access points.
Medibank's experience highlights the urgent need for organizations particularly those managing sensitive data, to adopt more powerful security measures, such like multi-factor authentication, least privilege access, and proactive network monitoring. In addition, this case serves as a powerful reminder that cybersecurity is not only a technical issue, but a core element of organizations' trust, resilience, and long-term sustainability.